My name is Joe DC. I'm the owner here at the Bank on 8th with Ace Axe Throwing and Escape Room Pittsburgh, and we're here with the BeLocal Buzz.
In our city we be living and enjoying the vibe. Shops, restaurants, and talents that his people provide. And it be local. Said it be local. Be local.
So we are in the historic Homestead neighborhood, right on 8th Avenue. We got the waterfront to my right, maybe about 100 yards away. And we are in the Bank on 8th building, as we've dubbed it. It's labeled the Monongahela Trust building on the headstone. And most recently it was PNC Bank in like 1990, 1991. Yeah, so the story with this building starts actually in Greenfield, where we started the escape room. We outgrew that building early on. We were the first escape room in Pittsburgh, and we're just super busy, sold out, and we were looking for a bigger building. And actually my sister knew this building was for sale, recommended it, toured it with my dad, toured it quite a few times. It's a big building, and then we negotiated and we got the building, opened up the escape room, and most recently we opened up the axe throwing and speakeasy. So before the bank and before the escape room, DJ'd. I've been DJing since I was 16 years old. Still do a little bit now, but not as much just because I'm here so much. Did some IT work, did video and digital media, websites, graphics, anything you can think of. So jack of all trades, master of none. So the escape room story starts in Budapest, Hungary, where my grandmother's from. I was traveling around Europe, Ireland, London, Paris, Prague, and then we ended up in Budapest. I was with my younger cousins and my sister, and I just Googled what to do in Budapest, Hungary, and the first thing that came up was a thing called an escape room. We played it, we fell in love with it, and while we were playing it, the wheels were spinning in my head. I was like, I can do this. So came back to Pittsburgh, started it. We were one of the first ones in the United States, and then we were the first ones in Pittsburgh. And obviously, as you guys know, it's just exploded over the last couple of years. There's probably about 10 or 15 escape rooms now in Pittsburgh. It's an old building, it's a 100-year-old building. It is a bank. There's 3 vaults in the building. That proved the challenge. Just going back to when we looked at it, it was massive. It's 30,000 square feet. And when I toured it with my dad, we had to tour it multiple times just to find it. And even jokingly, I think a year or two ago, we've owned it now for like 6 years. A year or two ago, we were in an old dark hallway in the building. We found a new restroom. Like there's a whole new bathroom. We didn't even know it was in the building. So that was kind of something funny. But yeah, the old buildings, they prove a challenge. One, you got to bring them up to code. 2, when you want to add a new stuff to it, it's challenging because the walls are so thick. For example, the vaults here in the building, they're like 3 feet wide of concrete with rebar. So when you want to add electrical, HVAC, bring them up to code, it's not just like, hey, we're going to put a hole in this wall. It's, hey, a week or two, we got to cut a hole in the wall. It's just extremely challenging. Yeah, so escape room was here for the first couple of years. Let's say it was 2-3 years, and then we started axe throwing about 2 or 3 years ago as well. And they kind of complement each other. We always say it's an immersive entertainment experience, whether you're coming to the escape room or axe throwing. We love entertainment in this building. So, corporate events, birthday parties, anything you think of, we love having events here, and I think both activities complement each other. On the lower level is the escape room. So you can walk in on 7th Avenue. It has its own door, its own lobby. Again, that was the first business we had in the building. There's 3 escape rooms downstairs. We're super proud of them. We put a ton of time into them. Me and my dad and a team of guys built everything you could see down there. We didn't buy anything online. He comes from the construction world, I come from like the digital media world, so it's kind of a good fusion of teamwork. So that's the lower level. The floor that we're on right now, floor number 1, that is the Ace Axe Throwing level. When you walk in the front door, that's kind of the grand entry of the building. There's big 4-story tall stone columns right on 8th Avenue, and I think it's one of the larger, if not the largest building on the avenue, kind of from, looking street level all the way to the top. When you walk in, we have a new little cafe on the left. We do pizza and tacos on the weekends. On the right side, when you walk in, it's virtual reality right now. Probably by the time this goes out, it's going to be a golf simulator. Really excited for that. And then in the main area, we call it the grand lobby. this was actually where they did banking. So where our bar is now is where the bank tellers cashed your checks, paid out your deposits, all of that stuff there. And we actually had to remove some of the lock boxes and little money safes at each of the teller stations. So that was a fun project. Moving up on the 4th floor, we have a speakeasy called Cosign Speakeasy, and that's for small parties. So picture like a small, intimate, dark lighting, hidden door, handmade cocktails. That's one of our newer businesses here. We're super excited about that one. And then finally, to end it, on the 5th floor, we have additional axe throwing, more targets, more seating. There's ping pong, cornhole, giant connect floors. So pretty much from floor 1 to 5, and including the lower level, there's a wide range of activities. Obviously, I hate talking about COVID in the last year. As a small business owner, it was super difficult, but we lived through it, and I would say it set us back on some of the goals we wanted to do, but I also think we were able to get a lot done when some people struggled. Me and my dad owned the building, so even when everything was closed, we were here working on it, making improvements, doing construction projects, anything we could just to improve the place. So that was fun. Grandiose plans for the future. One, just let Pittsburgh know about it. I think we do a good job marketing, the general neighborhoods around us and getting some corporate companies to come in and do events, but I think there's a lot of room to grow there. And the events that we have, we've done bands, we've done a DJ battle, we do salsa nights on Wednesday, we do Painting with a Twist, we have a partnership with them. So I think when people realize all what we have to offer here, and it's not just an escape room, it's not just axe throwing, it's not just a bar. When people get this whole concept that I've been dreaming and pitching to people for 4 or 5 years, I think they're really gonna latch onto it, and that's kind of what I'm excited for, just everyone seeing the whole picture come together. So I grew up in Munhall, which is just a neighborhood at the top of the hill. It's 5 minutes away. So I grew up, obviously the waterfront when I was younger was not there. It was still the steel mills, or at least just bare fields. The waterfront has been there for the last 15, 20 years, and I think it's a great addition to the Homestead neighborhood. But what people don't realize is on this side of the tracks, 8th Avenue used to be, booming and bustling when the steel mills were here. Now it's kind of fell off. In the last couple years, it's been doing better, but I think we have a lot of room to grow. So kind of goes back to the previous point. Once people figure out this little gem that we have down in Homestead, I think we're going to get a lot more foot traffic, and honestly, the neighborhood's built for it. So we're excited. Yeah, that's absolutely a good question. I mean, the community is everything. I don't think we would have purchased the building if we didn't know the community it's in. Us growing up 5 minutes away, this building was not in use while I was alive. So to see it just kind of sit there on a main drag and just collect dust, it was kind of sad. And to see these old buildings come back to life is, kind of what we live for. I mean, we're a construction family. That's what we come from, and it's cool to see the buildings just come back to life. I got to give shout out to our local friends down the street, Duke's. They're a local bar, but they have great food, great service. It's another family-owned business just like us. And it's funny, we always send our guests down there, and it's kind of a similar vibe. It's like Cheers, the people that are going to be in there. It's always going to be good food and service. So, always got to give Duke's a shout out. Greater Pittsburgh area, another food place. It's a friend of mine's, Frank and Francis in Shadyside. I'm a Central guy. She's an Oakland girl. We grew up together in Munhall. She opened up a space in Shadyside right off of Walnut Street, kind of like near the Apple store. And her family has just been involved with food their whole life, and they're great. So she opened up maybe about 2 years ago. I always recommend her spot. Same thing, family owned, family made. So I guess that is Pittsburgh. I'm going to recommend, one, the people I know, and two, family-owned businesses. I kind of see the trend of people going away from, the big box restaurants and the chains and all that stuff. And they're great and they're fine if you want to get something quick. But, if you're going to come to Pittsburgh, I'm not going to recommend, something that you could go in any other city. Me personally, I love going to random in the whole dive bars, because I think you could kind of get a tell of the neighborhood what's going on there. That's like one of my favorite things, is just trying a random dive bar, especially in a neighborhood you don't know. You might get some really good hidden gems out of that hole in the wall. Yeah, so we got a really good social media team here. Shout out to Janae, she runs it. She runs all the accounts in the building, and you can just either go on social media, look us up at Escape Room PGH or at Ace Axe Throwing. If you just Google us as well, Axe Throwing, Escape Room, Cosine Speakeasy, it all comes up online, and the websites are pretty well done. You can make a reservation on the websites. You could call ahead for a big party. We do a ton of corporate events. We also have a mobile trailer. So last weekend, 2 weekends ago, we were just at the Irish Festival for the whole 3-week-long festival, or 3-day-long festival on the weekend, and that was a really good event. So yeah, we're in a couple different places.